basic picking technique. Now I'm right-handed, so I shall be using right hand. If you're left-handed, you just do exactly the same thing, but with your left hand. Now, picks come in different sizes and, importantly, different thicknesses. But if you're a complete beginner, I would suggest something like this shape. And the important thing is to make sure it's not too thin and not too thick. So somewhere around a sort of 0.8 millimeters, possibly 1 millimeter, if that'll be already on the heavy side. What you definitely do not want to use is a super flexible, really thin one like these. If you're a beginner, they will not help you at all. You need to feel a little bit of resistance between the pick and the string to develop a good technique. Once you've got a good technique, you can pick any sort of pick you want and experiment with what these can do for you. So, holding a pick, you bend the fingers, so sort of a light fist, and the thumb is going to come down on top of the first finger. So we're going to put the pick in between it. So pick goes on there, thumb comes down, so that you've got a little triangle showing through. Now it's important that the finger remains bent. It doesn't have to be completely bent, it can just be a little bit, but you want to press against the side of the finger. You do not want to do this, which some people do, which is pressing against the flat bit of the finger. It's very, very difficult to control the pick like that. Much, much better to do it this way. So, for your first stroke, we're going to look at the 5th string, and we're going to place the pick just above the 5th string, and you play down, coming to rest on the 4th string. So we'll do that once again, just above, play down. Now the movement here is really lightly with the wrist. You don't keep the wrist solid and move the whole arm. It's nice and relaxed. That's a downstroke. The reverse, of course, will be an upstroke, so you start just below the string and come up. Upstrokes are much more difficult when you start than downstrokes. And then you can do this on each of the strings, maybe going down and up. Open strings. If you're that far, you can always put a chord on as well if you want to. And the top one. And finally the bottom one. Now you notice that we started with the 5th string and not the 6th string or the 1st string, because these do not have a string either side of them. So when you're going down here on the 1st string, if that's your very first one, it's hard to control the hand and stop it going too far. It's all about economy of movement, and you don't want to move any further than you really need to. And the same thing with the 6th string when you come up. That's it. For single note picking, it's really good to do some chromatic scales. So that will be every single fret. So pick something with the left hand. I'll play it up here so you can see what's happening. This will be on the 3rd string, and I'll put my finger here on the, let's pick the 10th fret. So you just go down, up, down, up, down, up. You can reverse it and go up, down, up, down, up, down. Just as a practice to get used to the feel of the pick. You'll need to squeeze the finger slightly, but don't grip it with all your might. You just need to hold it as firmly as necessary so it doesn't fall out. The more you practice, you'll find you need less and less pressure to hold the pick. So that's single notes. Now when you come to strumming, for this, again, you need to start just above the string that you're going to start on. So if we take all 6 strings, like a a typical G chord here. Start just above and come straight down. If you come down slowly, you get individual strings. If you come down a bit quicker, you get them all sounding together. And then you do the same coming up. Now when you come up with strumming, you don't need to go through all 6 strings. Most people when they're strumming maybe just hit the top 4 strings. As opposed to, which doesn't sound very elegant. With all 6 strings, it's fairly straightforward. It comes a bit trickier when you've got to start, say, on the 5th string, which you would do with a C chord. Then you've just got to practice, again, starting just above the string and take it slowly and get your hand used to the position, the starting position, to develop accuracy. Now, all this takes time and practice. It's not something you're going to do overnight. It's not going to do it in a week. You might not even do it in several months. It depends how much time you've got to devote to it and how quickly you pick these things up. But that's part of the fun of learning the guitar. So there we go, picking hand techniques there for single notes and to get you started with strumming. Next time I'm going to move over to the fretting hand, which in my case, of course, will be the left hand, or the right hand for left-handed people. There we go, that'll be next time. Have fun.